And so we begin episode 6 of D Plus's MCU's slow burn espionage drama, Secret Invasion.
I regret to announce this is the end.
Well, maybe regret is taking it a bit too far. Regardless, we are finally at the end of this interminable series. And it's important to remember where we left off last time on a cliffhanger in episode 5.
It's time. Let's finish this.
So clearly, speculation was, who did Fury call? Who did he get in contact with? And if you checked all the shill sites out there, it could be anyone from Captain Marvel to Ms. Marvel to Monica Rambeau. Hell, some people were even saying Chloe Bennett is coming back as Quake. Finally, Quake is coming back. Well,
get used to disappointment.
I really hope no one was holding their breath on that one. Anyway, we get this episode started with seeing Fury's wife, Priscilla Vara, come home, and Fury calls her. He's looking sad and depressed, leaning against a wall in an alleyway, basically calling to say goodbye because he doesn't know if he's going to come back. It's supposed to be an emotional scene. Okay, if you want it to be. After the call, we then see a car approaching the gates at New Skrulls. It turns out, the guards open fire, but there's no one in there. Out of nowhere, suddenly, the two guards are gunned down. Fury just walks in, blasts a couple in the head to make certain they're dead, continues on walking in. And then again, we are treated once again, for the last time, to the fever dream of some spastic kid with an Etch-a-Sketch trying to create some sort of entertaining, confusing sequence in the opening. It's unnerving. But, the most important part is at the end, because we'll get the name of the two writers in this case, Kyle Bradstreet and Brian Tucker. So we can blame those two for everything that happens on this episode. Back at the hospital, we see Skrull Rhodey talking to the president, trying to convince him that they need to strike at the Russians, explaining to him that the Skrulls and the Russians are in collusion. Now, there's an admiral that's pushing back on this, but Rhodey apparently puts her in her place.
Cannot rule out the possibility of a false flag attack.
Did you take a stupid pill with your breakfast this morning, Admiral?
I guess Rhodey has forgotten the chain of command, she being an admiral and him being just a colonel who may or may not even be in the military anymore. Regardless, now Rhodey's got a PowerPoint presentation that shows live footage of Russian troops moving to the borders of the Ukraine and Finland, and shows, they're on the move, the Skrulls are on the move, and it's time to make a strike. But the most interesting thing to me out of this whole thing is apparently when you're president of the United States and you're in the hospital, you get a fireplace. Because you look right there, right under the screen of Rhodey's PowerPoint presentation, you get this nice built-in fireplace. I'm guessing that all the hospitals in England are like that. That NHS system must be awesome. Back at New Skrullos, we see Fury walking through the compound. It looks a little deserted. He finds the bodies of all those Skrulls who tried to turn against Gravik and, got what was coming to them for defying their leader. Basically, no one's around. As he's walking around, we see him stumbling, having difficulty. It turns out that, it's a decommissioned nuclear plant, which apparently is just bursting with radiation and is affecting him immediately. And honestly, I think this is a misrepresentation of the effects of nuclear radiation. I mean, I don't think this place melted down Chernobyl style. It's just a decommissioned nuclear plant. I just don't think it's bleeding radiation all over the place, but his Geiger counter says it is. So he keeps popping iodine pills like they're Tic Tacs to freshen his breath, except to stave off, radiation poisoning. That's actually not how it works, but God forbid our two writers would, actually do some research to figure out how iodine works in relation to radiation. Eventually, he makes his way to Gravik and finds him in the Super Skrull conversion room. Fury's the worsening of the radiation symptoms. He drops his pill bottle, and Gravik starts taunting him, stating the last stand of the great Nick Fury. Then offers him a drink. because he's about to just launch into mocking him like everyone else has done in this entire series. At the hospital, Skrull Rhodey gets a phone call from Sonya, who tells him Fury's on the way, which is kind of curious because Fury's over in Russia right now, isn't he? But she says, Fury's on the way. He's lost his mind. You got to move the president. So Rhodey and his team start shuffling the president all around, all over the place. And I honestly think this whole scene would have benefited from some Benny Hill music, just back and forth as they're running all over the place, moving the president back and forth. At the same time that this is happening, all these Secret Service agents are suddenly getting taken out left and right. Little tranquilizer darts to the neck, to the back of the head. Who's doing this? I mean, how can it be Nick Fury when Nick Fury's in Russia? I can't imagine. I mean, the writers are really throwing us a curveball, aren't they here? We now interchange back and forth with New Skrullos, where we see Gravik talking with Fury. They're still in the reactor room, and this is the time where Gravik's actor Kingsley Benadir. This is his time to earn his Emmy. So he's going to go full on super villain monologue dialogue attacking Fury. He tells Fury how he's like, this is your plan, the great Nick Fury. You're here without any Avengers. You don't have any shield. You don't have your invisible face mask. You got nothing. This is your plan. And he just rips into him saying that Fury is the reason that he is what he is.
You pimped us, Fury. You put us out to work for you, and when you were done with us, you threw us away.
Fury made him the person he is. Everything is to blame on Nick Fury.
And just so I am absolutely clear about this, Fury, you look at me. Look at me. You did this.
Well, we kind of already knew that, didn't we? I mean, let's think back again. This entire time, we knew Nick Fury's a bad friend to Talos. He breaks his promises to the Skrulls. He's a bad husband. He wasn't a great strategist like we all thought, because all of his work was based on everything the Skrulls did for him. So Gravik is really nicely summing up why Nick Fury sucks. And you know what? Fury Base tells Gravik, you're right.
You're right. I failed you. I failed you.
You win. I just want you guys to leave in an exchange. I'm going to give you the harvest. And the harvest, of course, is all the DNA of all the Avengers and other heroes that was collected at the Battle of Earth in Avengers Endgame. So he gives it to Gravik, and Gravik just kind of shoves Fury to the ground, and Fury continues to suffer from the radiation sickness. And Gravik then puts the DNA, Avenger DNA gumbo in the Super Skrull machine, and we get to see the list of Avengers DNA and other heroes and villains which was taken. And oh my God, Nick Fury, what the hell were you thinking?
That wasn't safe at all. What an idiot.
Seriously, you put this all into one giant superpower cocktail?
Trust me, that's a terrible idea.
As a fail-safe, you're giving the ultimate power to beat every Avenger to just one person. I mean, it's not like there aren't bad guys out there in the universe who maybe get a hold of this. Maybe just some human gets it and figures out how to splice it all in to DNA, and that then becomes, the uber human or whatever the hell we call Homelander. I don't know. Nick Fury is really kind of dumb.
What an idiot.
So Gravik sparks up the machine, steps into it, where Nick Fury is just kind of laying there, and the whole thing lights up, and Gravik starts getting superpowers. Back at the hospital, of course, Rhodey's continuing to try to get the president hidden, get him safe. Sonya suddenly then shows up and points a gun at Skrull Rhodey. And then who appears at the end of the hall? I know it's going to shock you guys. It's Nick Fury. And you should be going, what? How is this possible? Are there two Nick Furies? One is in Russia, the other's in England? I'm confused. You crafty writers, you got us. No one could have seen this coming. No one could have seen that Nick Fury could be in two places at once, especially when we have a story involving shape-shifting aliens.
Skrulls.
But which Nick Fury is which? Well, guess what? We're about to find out, because you know what's happening in New Skrullos? That power machine, it's transferred the powers to the Super Skrull. Super Skrull. That's right. Now Gravik looks like, Dwayne the Skrull Johnson, all beefed up and roided, and he goes and attacks Nick Fury, but suddenly he stops a punch. And then his arm turns into the Hulk and blasts Gravik through the wall. And guess what? Yes, now we begin the really crappy CGI. So now we have our big CGI fight at the end, because that always comes up in a Marvel movie. And we also know that the CGI has not been good quality as of late, and this episode bears out. Turns out, yes, the Nick Fury in Skrullos is in fact Gaia. So she has now absorbed all of the powers that Gravik has absorbed. So now it is super uber duper. I don't even have enough words to describe the power levels that this fight's going to be. It's just going to be CGI glory. This whole time, this super uber duper powered CGI fight is going on in Russia. We flash back and forth to the excitement and tension in the hospital as Nick Fury is trying to convince the president to stop the strike. He's even saying, look, all you have to do is delay it. Arrest me if you want to. Just delay the strike. You just stopping for a few minutes. I don't care. And Skrull Rhodey's over there. No, sir. You got to launch this strike. Don't trust him. Kill that man. And the president's going back and forth with the gun. It's a classic scene. It reminds me of, the old Star Trek episode where there are two Kirks. Which one was which? Which one do you shoot? I don't know. They look alike. It's sort of that thing. He just doesn't know what choice to make, because this is the leader of the free world who's apparently very confused at the time. And this is extremely tense. Remember, the missiles are about to fly.
They're fueling their missiles. We don't have time to fuck around.
If you really want to watch a good tense drama, I recommend Crimson Tide. You got two powerhouse actors, Gene Hackman, Denzel Washington, just chewing scenes together. It's outstanding. Really good flick. Regardless, we are supposed to be experiencing tension here. Ultimately, Skrull Rhodey makes a move to try to break the tension, and Fury, pops off a cap in his head, and he reverts to a Skrull, and suddenly the president realizes, oh my God, I've made a mistake. I need to call off the strike. And fortunately, I guess Sonya's carrying, the red phone to contact the missile command to stop it, because that's what all spies carry, I guess. At the same time, we've been going back and forth the exciting, exciting CGI fight in New Skrullos. And let's just piece through some of these things here, because look, the outcome. The guy is going to win. But just, oh God, there's some stupid looking stuff here. I mean, you got Gravik. Yeah, he kind of looks like a Super Skrull, with all the morphing powers and everything. And he's got the different arms. And at one point, Gaia's got Drax's arm, I guess. And then she gets a Frost Giant arm. I think my favorite part is actually when Gravik transforms from having a Groot arm to Ebony Maw's arm. And you can see that he's actually wearing rings. That's right. He's wearing Ebony Maw's rings. That makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. I mean, seriously, how does the DNA of Ebony Maw include jewelry? I don't know. I guess maybe we could ask those two great writers who crafted this, because certainly they did the research. Like I say, there's some really good CGI here, and we have, Gaia has all the superpowers in the world, and there's clearly no analogy to who she's being now. But anyway, the climactic battle ends with her grabbing Gravik and blasting him through the heart with a Captain Marvel blast. and she wins. And then she goes to free all the humans that have been kept captive. So, she frees the NATO members, the British Prime Minister and everything. And along the way, we find out that she also frees Rhodey, who we've told has been there a long time. I got theories on that. I may address that later. Also, we see, Everett Ross show up. So they're all walking out. All the humans are being carried out of the detention bay where they were kept on ice. That was the New Skrulls, right? Where there's giant amounts of radiation, as we saw, but all these humans are fine. They're not throwing up, collapsing, whatever. I wonder where I got that idea. Could have been 15 minutes earlier in the show. So now, the epilogue. Where are we at? The president decides we declare war on all off-worlders.
We know how to find you. And we will kill every last one of you.
You do not honestly believe that you can kill them all.
Yeah, they're just going to go kill all the Skrulls. And apparently all off-worlders. Wait a minute. Isn't there another nice off-world place on Earth now? Populated by a bunch of nice off-worlders? Where are we going to get our infinity cones? Fury and the president have a tete-a-tete over the phone, where Fury says, you got to change your mind on this. You are unleashing hell. Yeah, he kind of is. This is like stupid-ass plan, because now we got all these vigilantes running around, shooting at people they think are Skrulls. Sometimes they get it right. Sometimes they get it wrong. And mass chaos. I kind of feel that this is what General Ross is going to run on when he beats Ritz and eventually becomes president. Fury and his wife Priscilla, a.k.a. Vara, meet up at the end, and they have a conversation about whether or not they can stay together, and Fury says he still loves her. Sonya meets with Gaia and says, I'm going to give you an opportunity to come work with me. Gaia's hesitant, and he's like, look, I'll use you, you use me. We'll keep things in line. So now, Fury and Talos have been replaced by Sonya and Gaia. The MCU continues. Now the final thing, which I guess is the tie-in to the Marvels. We see Nick Fury in the field where he came in, ready to depart, and Vara shows up. They have this conversation about how they need each other. He needs her more than she needs him, he admits. And basically she asks, can you love me in my real skin? And she transforms into her Skrull self. And there's a very awkwardly choreographed kiss. And then they go off together to the space station. And we have finally reached the end of Secret Invasion, which this cost $220 million. That is 6 episodes. The last 3 were maybe about 30 minutes. I mean, that's not even... I don't think it was a total of 4 hours of actual show. $220 million. I wonder why Disney is looking to sell off some of its properties.
Oh, who knows?
It is a mystery. Who could solve it? I don't know. And that's it. This has been a worthless show. Again, it degraded a really good character, and there's no reason to do it. Maybe we understand why they've retired certain characters, but Nick Fury's still around. Sam Jackson is still around. He was never the action guy. He was always the planning guy. You couldn't always keep Nick Fury around. But again, we're just getting rid of all these characters, and the joke is it's the MCU, but sure as hell, it seems like it is. I mean, at some point, the Marvels may be coming out. Rumors of delay, who knows? But that's all we got. I mean, we're not going to get an Avengers 5 or Avengers 6. We're going to get an A-Force. That's what this is going to be. And then Captain Falcon will be there. Maybe he can get one of the women to vouch for him for a bank loan. I just don't know what the purpose of this was. It just, again, this could have been a whole show done in 2 hours. Invasion of the Body Snatchers. We've seen 2 movies on it. It could have been done. Just a waste of a character, and really Disney, a waste of money. It's your second lowest rated show. Guys, sort it out. If you can't figure it out at this point, just stop. Do something else, because this is dumb. Unless you don't like money. I mean, maybe that's your thing. Some of us do. Regardless, we've come to the end.
This is how it ends.
The, slow burn series is finally burned out. And I'm kind of burned out myself. So, questions, comments, witticisms down below. Click the like button. Click the subscribe button. I'll see you later, but certainly not talk about this again.